All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a super high-energy, hyper-focused exploration into the microscopic yet absolutely essential details of industrial logistics. We're taking a giant magnifying glass to the plant construction industry to look at a tool so completely ubiquitous it kind of just blends into the background of literally any project site. Yet, it forms the absolute backbone of moving heavy materials. So get ready, because we are breaking down the absolute genius behind some everyday engineering.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to take a second and just try to guess. What is this single most indispensable piece of equipment for moving cargo on a busy project site? Now, if you're new to the world of construction and heavy engineering, you might immediately picture those massive crawler cranes towering over skyscrapers, or maybe those gigantic multi-axle transport trailers moving 100-ton steel vessels. But actually, the real everyday unsung hero of the construction site is much more grounded, much more compact, and endlessly busy. If you guessed the forklift, you are exactly right. Now, on global mega projects, standardizing our language is absolutely key, which is why you'll almost exclusively hear this called by its English name, the forklift. It's a vital piece of equipment engineered primarily for one core purpose, and that's moving cargo efficiently, precisely, and safely from point A to point B. And here's a fun fact for you. These machines actually first gained massive popularity way back during World War I to compensate for labor shortages. And honestly, they've been the undisputed kings of cargo ever since. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the front of the machine. Take a close look at that distinct frontal architecture. You'll notice two heavy-duty, flat metal prongs sticking out horizontally, resting just slightly above the dirt. That is the namesake fork. Since we're breaking this down for absolute beginners today, understanding this specific structural shape, which is typically forged from high-tensile steel to withstand immense shear forces, is literally the entire key to understanding how this machine completely revolutionized logistics.
Consider the physics at play here for a second. This isn't just some aesthetic design choice, right? By keeping the prongs right down at ground level, the forklift capitalizes on a super low center of gravity, and that allows it to slide perfectly underneath heavy, bulky loads without tipping over. It completely eliminates the need for complex rigging, massive cables, or incredibly dangerous manual lifting by the site workers. Its physical form is the exact reason it's so incredibly effective at handling cargo. Form perfectly follows function here.
Let's move to the next piece of the puzzle and see how this builds. Because here's the secret. The forklift rarely works alone. It relies entirely on a perfectly matched partner tool to do its job, and that is the wooden pallet. You've definitely seen these stacked behind grocery stores or sitting in big warehouses. It's actually amazing to consider that the standardization of the wooden pallet during World War II totally revolutionized global shipping. In industrial plant construction, this highly standardized, deceptively simple wooden platform is absolutely critical. Without it, the forklift loses a massive amount of its utility.
It's just a brilliantly simple illustration of symbiotic industrial design. Notice the horizontal gaps built directly into the base of the wooden pallet. They provide the exact mathematical clearance for the forklift's metal prongs. It's like a lock and key. The cargo sits cleanly and stably on top of the wood, and those precise gaps allow the machinery and the materials to interface absolutely seamlessly.
To make it crystal clear, let's just break down this simple but absolute genius mechanism of action step by step so you can clearly visualize it in your mind. Step 1. The forklift approaches the pallet which is holding the heavy cargo. Step 2. The operator lowers the prongs to ground level and the fork shape slides perfectly into those pre-made gaps right under the pallet. Then, using a powerful hydraulic cylinder system, which is often capable of lifting thousands of pounds with just a slight pull of a lever, the forklift raises the entire pallet and its cargo straight up into the air to be driven away. It is just beautifully efficient.
This highly efficient, constantly repeated mechanical motion makes the forklift the undeniable, unsung hero of the site. When you kind of pull back and transition your view from the tiny mechanical details to the much broader industrial impact, you realize that this incredibly simple action is literally the backbone of modern construction. Without the ability to quickly pick up, maneuver, and carefully set down heavy materials, entire construction schedules would just grind to a devastating halt.
So, the crucial point here, and this brings us to a foundational truth highlighted in our engineering texts, is that the forklift is, quote, one of the most frequently used equipment on site. Just think about the massive scale of industrial plant construction for a moment. Amidst all the multi-million-dollar machinery, the heavy-duty cranes, the highly complex piping installations, it's this specific, highly maneuverable tool that is constantly buzzing around the dirt, making sure every single component gets exactly where it needs to be, right when it needs to be there.
To quickly wrap up our microanatomy breakdown, it's an essential piece of site equipment designed specifically for moving cargo. It's defined by its front fork shape, operates in perfect tandem with a pallet, and is hands down the most frequently utilized tool on site. Just by focusing in and analyzing this single concept from our engineering texts, we've unlocked a really robust understanding of this vital equipment.
I want to leave you with this thought to carry with you today. Imagine how incredibly slow, how painfully labor-intensive, and just how inefficient a modern project site would be without this simple, fork-shaped innovation. The next time you pass by a construction site and see one of these machines zipping around with a wooden pallet, I really hope you have a profound new appreciation for the simple, everyday equipment that literally builds our world. Thanks so much for exploring with us. Keep asking great questions, and we'll see you next time.